Now picture this. You got a 6'1", nearly 400-pound mountain of muscle, pulling off tricks on BMX bikes like he's auditioning for the X Games. Now imagine that same very man casually squatting 1,173 pounds, more weight than most of us will ever lift in a lifetime. And his bench press of 821 pounds, it's like a warm-up for him. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a comic book character. We're talking about a real man, Chad the Beast Aiches, a world record holding strongman and the fourth strongest man in human recorded history. And let that sink in for just a moment. The fourth strongest human in history. So, Chad's the kind of guy who makes Thor look like he skipped a leg day at the gym. You know, he's competed at the Arnold Classic, the Mr. Olympia, and he rewrote the record books for powerlifting. And while social media loves to crowns kings of strength, Chad's accomplishments have dwarfed even the large, huge social influencers like Eddie Hall without a single viral stunt or an over-the-top self-promotion aspect. Instead, Chad's legacy isn't just about lifting insane weights, it's about lifting up people. He's coaching, motivational speaking, writing for Elite FTS. Chad has spent decades building not just bodies, but people's minds, folks. But here's the twist. Behind that brute strength is a story of unimaginable vulnerability. Chad has faced battles far heavier than a loaded barbell. Depression, anxiety, and the crushing weight of suicidal thoughts. He's been to the darkest corners of the human mind, and he's clawed his way back. And today, he's here to remind us all that even giants fall sometimes, but what matters is how they get back up. So if you've fallen in life, let this be the inspiration that helps you get back up on your feet. So in the episode, I want to share 10 takeaways from the 2-hour discussion that he and I had. And I want to make sure that you stick around to the very end, because the wisdom that you're going to learn from this conversation is not the kind of information that you're going to learn from school or reading a book. It's something that's got to be lived through an actual person who's done it. So sit back and prepare to learn from one of the very best in the world on how to achieve your goals despite the challenges life will ultimately throw on you. Because, folks, life is not always rainbows and sunshines. I mean, let's face it, we've all set out to achieve one goal or another in our life, and all too often, it feels like as soon as we set that goal, life smacks us in the damn face and it knocks us down. It's like it knows that we're trying to do something great, and it doesn't freaking care. So learn how you can overcome adversity and become something as remarkable as a world champion. So today we're going to dive deep into the conversation I had with Chad the Beast Aiches about his struggles with mental health and how he's learned the power of passion and perseverance. Perseverance, or as I like to call it, the how-to manual for outlasting everyone else while they're busy freaking quitting. This isn't your typical self-help fluff, people. This is advice that hits you right in your freaking gut, because it's not about luck, it's not about privilege, and it's not even about talent. It's about grit. And if you don't have it, well, I'm here to tell you how to get it. So stay tuned and listen to these powerful lessons. You don't make it to his position as the number 2 ranked competitor in the entire world and the 4th strongest man in human history by accident. It happens through the very takeaways that we're going to cover in today's video. So stay tuned to the very end, because you're not going to want to miss out on any of these aspects. All right, takeaway 1 is that grit is passion plus perseverance. First up, what the heck is grit? According to Chad, it's a mix of passion and perseverance. Now, passion meaning that you care deeply about something, and perseverance meaning that you keep going even when things suck. Think about it like this. Passion is a spark that gets the fire started, but perseverance is what keeps it burning when the wind picks up, or when life decides to throw a bucket of water onto you. You don't care, you keep driving on. That's what perseverance will do for you. So, in terms of being in the gym, it's about picking up those dumbbells. But you see, here's the kicker. Most people quit because they confuse passion with fleeting crush. You know, like the time that you swore that you'd go to the gym after New Year's and you'd get started and you'd lose all this weight, and you went maybe twice. You took a selfie, put it on Instagram, but you haven't been back since. That is not passion, my friends. Passion is marrying the gym. Perseverance is staying married to the gym. Even when the gym smells like sweat and it's full of disappointment, you keep on going. So you gotta have them both to be successful. That's lesson number 1 that I learned from Chad, the Beast, Aiches. Now, during our 2-hour discussion, Chad drops this mind-blowing formula in the podcast that talent times effort equals skill. Skill times effort equals achievement. The translation, effort counts twice. Twice. Let that sink in for just a second. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're lazy, congratulations, because you just wasted your damn gifts and talents that God gave you. Meanwhile, the guy who's working his ass off, who, let's be honest, probably isn't half as talented, is gonna pass you because he keeps showing up. Effort doesn't just build skill, it builds success. So you need to realize that. You can go anywhere with enough effort. So yeah, talent, is it nice? Yeah, great. But hard work, that's the real MVP of this story, folks. So remember.
All right, in this lesson, Chad outlines 4 psychological assets that'll build grit. It's interest, practice, purpose, and hope. So let me break each one of these down for you so they can make sense. Interest, step 1. Do you even like what you're doing? If not, no amount of grit is ever gonna save you. If your why isn't strong enough, it'll leave you. It'll leave. You'll flee. You're going to quit. So find something that you can obsess over, like a hobby that makes your mom question your life choices. Like you lock yourself in your room for days and don't leave because you're so obsessed with what you're doing. Next is practice. That's where the magic happens. Practice isn't just doing the same thing over and over and over. It's something much more deliberate. It's focused. It's painfully uncomfortable. And it's where you'll say, wow, I really suck at this. And then you'll do it again and again and again until you don't suck anymore. Now we got purpose. Purpose is what keeps you going. When Netflix is calling your name, come on, check out this new show. It's bigger than your why. It's behind what you do. If only your purpose was, I want more followers on Instagram, well, good luck, because that shit ain't gonna last either. But last, we got hope. Finally, hope. This is the belief that you can improve. If you don't think you can get better, you're already lost. Get hopeful, people, because remember, a person forced against their own opinion will be that of an opinion. So if you think you're a fucking loser, guess what? You're a loser. If you think that you'll always be that way, you'll always be that way. But if you have some glimmer of hope, things that are not yet seen, but you believe can come true, then you have the ability, through grit, through purpose, through practice, through all this, to do anything you want to do. All right, folks, now let's talk about the role of your environment. You see, Chad the Beast Ike says that grit thrives in culture that values it. So if you're hanging around people who quit at the first sight of something difficult, well, guess what? You're probably going to quit yourself. Surrounding yourself with gritty people who are going to actually push you, people who are going to actually challenge you, and people who won't let you give up, those are the type of people that you want to get around. And no, your Xbox friends, they don't count. Sorry, Gamer69, it just isn't happening. So guys, pay attention to your environment. All right, here's the next tip. Look, here's the deal. It's not enough to just work hard, folks. You have to work smart. That's where deliberate practice comes in. It's not shooting hoops casually, it's analyzing your form, it's adjusting your technique, and putting in the hours until you can't miss the shot. And trust me, it's not fun. It's repetitive. It takes time. It takes effort. It can get frustrating. But guess what? That's what it takes, and it works. So take your basketball and you miss, say, the first 10 free throws, or maybe even the first 100, and then you start making baskets. Now you're making improvement. See, that's proof that deliberate practice pays off. You need to know sometimes it's the simple things that make the big things. Another example is just going to the gym. In the beginning, you're only going to be so motivated and have the stamina to last maybe 10 minutes. But if you keep coming back day after day after day, you're going to get better at lifting, and you're going to get stronger from the lifting that you're doing. And from all that, you'll increase your endurance because you remained consistent and stuck with it. It's all about sticking with things, folks. Be consistent. So here's the bottom line. Talent versus grit. Let's get one thing straight. Talent might open a door, but grit is what kicks that shit down. So think of the naturally gifted people you knew who never did a fucking thing with their lives. And now think of those underdogs, the people who weren't supposed to succeed, the ones that were overlooked, but they outworked everybody else. That is called grit. Grit will win every single time. So if you can take away anything from this podcast message, is that you need to develop grit. So build your grit and you'll change your life. So here's the ultimate takeaway that I need you to understand. Grit is not something that you're born with. It's something that you build. It's something that you cultivate. It's something you develop. It's showing up day after day after day when it's boring, when it's hard, when there's no one watching, when you don't feel like doing it. And if you think that you don't have it, you're wrong. You just haven't started yet. So stop scrolling, stop blaming your lack of talent, and start building your grit. Remember, effort counts twice. You've got this. And if you don't, well, watch this video again until it starts to sink in. I'm going to be here the whole time, here to cheer you on. Now, go do something uncomfortable. Take your side outside your comfort zone, and I'll wait, and I'll watch, and I'll see tremendous things happen for you. And now that we've touched on these invaluable lessons and that you've made it this far, do me a favor and hit that like button. And in the comment section, type the word grit. By doing this, you'll help the algorithm, and you'll be wiring your brain into something where you're slowly starting to commit to this actual process because you took the time to type in the simple word grit. Life will take you far in the world if you have grit. It'll take you to a whole nother level. Now without it, you're gonna remain stuck in the same place you are right now. And is that where you really want to be? If not, then develop this grit. And don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications when the next video comes out, and so you'll never miss any more of this invaluable information. So until next time, I'm out.